Talkers. Welcome to the Walker Talkers. So let's get to talking.
Welcome to the Walker Talkers, indeed. Aaron here. Blah, blah, blah.
And Raider Pete, of course, here for Season 9, Episode 10, Omega, oh crapo.
Indeed, oh crapo. Oh man, was that, well, lack of a better term, crap of an episode, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it was quite craptastic.
Yeah, not only with its low budget, seemingly low budget set design and, 2 location, 10 character episode, it wasn't necessarily the best introduction to Alpha.
Yes, I mean, it's always nice to have a flashback of the early days of the apocalypse, but I don't really give a crap. No Rick, no Maggie, Michonne out the door. Come on, give me some more. Heads on pikes, something.
As old Big Red would have said, who's Alpha? And, with that, we're going to go ahead and resurrect for this episode of the Walker Talkers.
Resurrection.
Yo! What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Walker Talkers, presented by PanNerdia. Ron and Pete here to discuss, The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 10, Omega. And, to start it off, we're going to go ahead and bring you guys probably the most exciting clip of the show, and that's saying a lot. So, let me go ahead and pop something on there for you guys, and we'll go ahead and get started with our opening scene.
That's right.
What? Ooh. Yeah, so they're pretty bad BA, as you can see.
All sorts of weapons. Slingshot, throwing knives. Of course, Tara with her typical,
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's pretty awesome if you ask me, man. But that's about the only cool part of the episode. I mean, look, guys, this show is still close to our heart, but without these major supporting characters and a Michonne-less episode, yeah, you got Daryl. Yeah, he did speak a little bit more than dog, but more than that, it just kind of fell short in terms of a backstory for the new big bad.
It was pretty boring. I'm sorry, but like when you make all these thrills and big, grandiose episodes like episode 5, when Rick's last episode, and then you have this, it's just like a wet fart, you know?
It is like a wet fart.
I mean,
man.
we appreciate the way they shoot it all and the drama of it, and we'll get into it. I say we just jump right in and do the synopsis.
Okay, let's jump in. Synopsis, Pete.
Well, the backstory of Lydia and Alpha are revealed, at least the first month into their apocalypse, that is. We find out the details during the cell-to-cell conversations between Lydia and Henry. Henry was jailed for sneaking out, but as much info he was getting from Lydia, he also talked about his parents and the kingdom. Henry got yanked outside by Daryl right after that, and, Daryl revealed his eavesdropping operation that him and Enid and Tara were doing by the basement window.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a serious thing, man. This is the biggest threat they've had in years.
Yeah,
so
and they're just letting this little
whatever intel
punk,
they can get.
who honestly, man, after, okay, I'm not going to get into it. Yes, some of our favorite people left.
That's fine.
But now this kid's in here, and he's replacing the character that should have been there, who had time to actually be on the show and live out his character and be good at acting as that character. Chandler Rizzo's a good actor for his age. He really is. I'm not so sold on this guy.
Especially when the kid he grew up in the show, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
It's too late. His childhood was taken away from him. Let him continue. Maybe even let him go crazy psychopath in Walking Dead. I don't care.
Dude.
Do whatever you want with his arc. Just don't kill him like that.
Off. I know. And then we got this guy who, honestly, rewatching him again, this episode again, his scenes, his lines, they're not, they feels like he's like reading them off cue card.
Sure, he's a nice guy, comes from a good family. Obviously, the Walking Dead family loves his family because his siblings were on the show in the past years. But really, like, he seems as nervous as he does on an interview couch as he does, like, reading his lines on the show.
Weird. Yeah,
I mean, maybe that's what they're going for. But, well, the rest of the synopsis, there was a sentimental chat, by the way, between Henry and Daryl about Carol's hair. Yes. We'll get to that later in characters. That's how lame this was. But that same night, Henry lets Lydia out of the cell for a little walk. They have a little worm picnic. Then just before murdering Henry with a hammer, Lydia hears a Hilltop baby crying, and she has a panic attack, finally requests to go back into the cell as long as Henry can stay the night and sleep just outside the bars on the floor there.
Yeah.
Aww. It's like, I wanted the last 10 minutes of my life back when that happened. It's like, someone needs to die. Like, this is The Walking Dead. The second part of the show, because that was it. It was Henry getting info of Lydia and Lydia's flashbacks of her and her mom, Alpha, and how her mom had two stories. One, she fed her a whole bunch, and another one that was the truth, which she figured out on her own. We'll get to that characters too, but basically 2.5 attempts to search for Luke and Alden fall short.
Yep.
Tara shot down the first try, wanting to gather info. Yumiko convinced her group to sneak out, yet retreated with Magna. Connie and Kelly went on their own, but were escorted back to Hilltop, and unfortunately, there was a bad moment there because Connie ended up stuck in that mini cornfield during the next moment, and that moment was the first intimidation visit.
When the Saints come marching in.
Yeah, the first intimidation visit to trade prisoners, or there will be conflict, and of course, that's the scene from the preview we'll watch at the end of our show tonight. For E11 Bounty, and I think that's pretty revealing that it's called Bounty, and there's prisoners of war, so to speak, on both sides.
I don't think I have that clip. I have the what's next, so like the preview clip, and not the select scene clip.
Oh, fine. I'll save that for the last blast then.
There you go. Cool.
I guess we could talk a little outcomes and characters next.
Okay, so yeah, some outcomes. So I'd say the biggest outcome is Punk is taking Carl's spot. We have...
Daryl still has few lines, even though he was like the main character.
He was the main character, but again, he's not even that captivating. I'm sorry.
No.
Though I did appreciate slightly that he wanted old boy to let her out to get some more information.
Right, that was smart. And also the fact that, he does relate to Lydia because he came from a really crappy upbringing himself, and he's kind of a wild person himself,
Right.
And so she kind of brought that out of him just in his own head, but not out loud. So really, who cares? I mean, the only outcome I can think of is the whispers are bad news and bigger than expected, with a psychopath leading them. I mean, there's your outcome. There's your final outcome, because the flashback of her killing her husband.
Yeah. Slowly pulling her hair out.
Yeah, and slowly pulling her hair out and knifing it out and all that.
Yeah.
And then leading up to all the stuff we saw at the end of last week's episode, that was the most revealing thing. It's like, okay, now we know exactly who we're messing with.
Yeah, she really is a psycho. And it's one of those classic cases of the apocalypse needed to happen for it to come to a head and to show her true self, so to speak. So, speaking of that, let's go ahead and delve into some characters. Maybe pick apart their brains a little bit,
exactly.
Like our zombie Walker counterparts would have done.
Now remember, folks, this episode is probably the worst one of season 9, but
yeah, I would agree.
It also had the least content and the least amount of people with lines. I mean, I think there was only 10 people that actually had lines in this show, and that's not a lot considering there wasn't anything else impactful that happened until the very, very end, and I don't even think it really happened. It's going to start... The very opening scene of tonight's episode, Bounty, is probably going to be more exciting than all the scenes in last week's show, Omega.
Yeah, they got a lot to kind of pick up on here. I get it. They needed kind of an episode to explain Alpha, but if you're going to bring in a character that's supposed to be this menacing...
And she's a good actress.
She's a good actress.
She's very convincing. I know she's won awards and stuff. She's She's downright awesome. She's got
She looks wicked.
the twang accent down, and it's very intimidating.
Where she is right now,
Yeah.
I like the character, but how they described how she got there, I didn't appreciate it. I wish it would have been more gritty, more grimy. We saw
Her bald ass is much more sexier in the comic, by the way, but you know.
Yeah, well,
whatever.
you know. So perhaps we will get, some even more backstory of like how they decided to start sewing zombie skins onto them.
Right.
Stuff like that. Maybe we'll get that a little later. But, to start it off, yeah.
So, I mean, the most important to the least important of the episode, obviously, we already covered Alpha pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Lydia, we kind of covered for the most part.
Right.
She's still not one to trust right now. For sure, not right now.
But she's kind of Stockholm Syndrome-ish.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Exactly. So we'll see how long she stays with our group and if she changes at all. But besides Lydia, besides even Henry, which we already know, like, once he gets in her pants, he's not looking back. She could say anything to him and he'll probably be like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Pure Boy is going to be corrupt, but not the way you think. It's going to happen up to Lydia, and though she is kind of, like we said, kind of a victim, as we kind of found out in this episode, as she kind of even discovered herself, I still think her loyalty is like completely with her mother and the Whispers.
What about Daryl now? I mean, do you see him staying at Hilltops and seeing this through, or is he going to be bouncing from community to community?
I think at this point he kind of feels like he's obligated to Henry. He's already given him that, that kind of brotherly, like big brotherly authority that I think Henry needs, because his new dad, as he says, he's got a kingdom, so to speak, to lead, and honestly he's more of a motivational speaker to him than he is.
And it's only about a day up north, right?
Right, yeah.
Like,
a whole day, yeah.
A whole day's worth of walking. Okay, thanks for that.
Daryl's kind of I feel like that more like real raw person. He's not continuously throwing up the accent. He's not in this character. It's just like
So, like, the other characters aren't really that worth talking about. I mean, I can't believe we're here on the Walker Talkers, and we're doing a character list, and, like, it's just Tara, Yumiko, and, like, all the broads that are in that group. I mean, Tara, Yumiko, Magna, Kelly, Connie, they went out with Cal, who was, like, the only dude besides Daryl and Henry featured on the show.
Yeah.
And Cal had, like, a couple little short lines. They came across some walkers, decided to call it quits, and
he's got some decent armor. That's about Cal.
And then Tara, she's in charge now, right?
Yeah,
so
sweet.
like she has to make decisions, but she doesn't want to do anything hasty and jump to any conclusions. So she wants to hold back, get more information. That's really all we have for Tara. I mean, I kind of see her projected as the Maggie character from the comic, just for certain little things, like her relationship with Henry is going to be very much like Maggie's relationship with Carl at this point in the story.
Like you mentioned that she might be the one who walks in
while he's having a little
a different kind of worm picnic.
Yeah. They'll be eating worms and of all sorts. Maybe even the kind like tapeworms you get from the butt.
Oh, God.
So that's pretty much it. I mean, Kelly and Connie, I guess they're pretty cool. They got their own way of communicating and fighting, which is very unique and new to the show and all that. And they are characters from the comic, like Magna and Yumiko, who are a couple, the two of them. But, like, really, we need to see heads on pikes. I mean, that's all I have to say. I mean, there weren't any Alexandrian natives, other Hilltoppers, nor any Kingdom people featured in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not too much to appreciate, but I guess we could, like, shoot out a few things.
We can throw out a couple things that we were kind of appreciative. Maybe we can kind of throw in some things that we're not. I mean, you already know many of the things we're not appreciative of, but I'll say another thing I'm not. And then I'll go ahead and round it off with something I do appreciate. Here's something I don't appreciate. I didn't appreciate how the Whispers walked in their last scene of the episode, when it was just like, oh, look, the group's coming back to Hilltop, and then, now the Whispers just come marching around the corner, hence why I gave that marching band fucking corny-ass joke earlier. Yeah. Because that's what they did. It was so lame. I looked at it like, this is their entrance. They're just marching up, and just at the same exact time that Yumiko and
the way it was like Boys in the Hood, like they're just like kind of walking finally we could walk normal instead of like.
I did not appreciate that. It seemed super corny and rushed, and I did not like it. They're like, how are we gonna make them? Just have them march in.
They
and
should have
kinda
sprouted
run
up like that stupid episode where Sasha was in Rick's dream.
Yeah, right.
Pop up.
Just look
Something
at,
else,
Give
anything
him
else.
a sassy look. It's just kind of like I didn't appreciate the laziness in that scene. But I'll tell you something I did appreciate. That's hard for this episode, man. It really is. I appreciated the cool zombie kills. How about that? The cool walker kills from Magna and them.
It's not every day you see people use slingshots in this show at all.
Slingshots,
But
I
it
was
makes perfect sense, eh?
I liked it. It was cool. All right, Pete, what about your appreciations, brother?
Well, mine, I'll do from like least important to most important. I would have to say, got to see Magna's group do their specialty weapons for sure. Lydia's hard or soft speech, and the true reveal of Alpha. But I mean, that was pretty much the whole show. So like, I guess you could say, did I appreciate the whole show? No, it fucking sucked. Sorry.
It did, yeah.
But the extended preview after the show, the Redneck Psycho as an elder Darth Vader. Because let's face it, man, the baldness, the whiteness, and the makeup around the eyes and the lipstick
lips.
stuff and all that, it looked like when Luke opened the mask and said goodbye to his dad.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the way
It was
he
like,
looked, totally did.
just like Elder Vader
She's
there.
his little voice box under her
And you know what's funny is I
she is
appreciated that the most, and that wasn't even in the show. That was in the extended preview on Talking Dead or something like that.
Yeah, I saw some stuff on Twitter over the week, like her taking like a selfie with it, with like a cell phone and stuff, and making like a crazy face with it. Yeah, she definitely, right now where she's at, she definitely fits the horrific, psycho, big bad we need. But again, it's just her story to build it up. At least her beginning kind of kickoff point. You know what it felt like, bro?
What?
It felt like one of those, like back when they're introducing Fear the Walking Dead, and they had the like, watch the mini episodes of the plane shit online, and that's what it felt like. It felt like one of those episodes. Like just like we're giving it to our like not our B crew, our C crew to go film this real quick somewhere. Yeah, that's what it felt like. I'm sorry,
not
season 9.
Not a good feeling to be a lifetime fan of this show, man.
I'm sorry, man. It felt very underwhelming, and I'm sorry. But I think that brings us
little predictions or something.
Yeah, as kind of like a little send off to our predictions / preview for the next episode. We want to kind of ask you guys. Of course, we did not forget our fans' choice, and our fans' choice tonight is a classic, simple fans' choice of, well, who's next?
Who will die next?
Who's kicking the bucket, huh?
First of all, did anybody die besides a few walkers in this past episode?
No.
I mean, we don't want to count flashbacks. That doesn't count for anything.
Flashbacks doesn't count. Who cares about that? Those characters were just to push that shitty flashback forward.
So someone's got to die. Someone we know, not just some no-names from Kingdom or Alexandria or Hilltop. It's got to be some actual characters we know.
Some characters that are important.
Like someone that actually has spoken at least one line. You know, something.
See, Pete understands now that having characters that you connect with and them getting ripped from your soul is very integral to important
and the
to
only
good
way
storytelling.
to help this and remedy it is to have a character you hate die.
Yes.
No matter how they pick and choose to die.
Or another character that you love get ultimate revenge.
Yeah, something like that. So really, I guess we're going to have to ask our friends from the original OG cast pre-Rick dying.
Right.
Our hallmark itty-bitties.
Itty-bitties. Oh, we got the itty-bitty Rick and the itty-bitty Walker and the itty-bitty Daryl and the itty-bitty Michonne.
Yes, aren't they heartwarming? I mean, this time of year it's cold and frigid out and windy and nasty and muddy. Why not cozy up with your favorite Walking Dead itty-bitties? Or just watch our prediction of this fan's choice. So let's see here. I don't know if the fan's choice is behind Rick. You know, he dead. Walker dead. Daryl, not much to be said.
Oh.
But behind Michonne. Oh.
Michonne. Well, let us know who's next.
Oh, Michonne.
Who's next to go?
Nice. Your sword is very. Oh, there we go. Who's next, ladies and gentlemen? The fans say, and in the exact words, Alden must die.
Jersey boy.
Jersey boy. And you know what? There was a Jersey mention with him talking to one of the newer characters. I guess it was Luke. He said something about, like, whatever, like, oh, like if you were in Jersey or something like that. And Luke was like, oh, yeah, Jersey. I'm like, are you kidding me? This was like 2 episodes ago.
Oh, God.
But still, because it was so, it's still too insignificant for me to bring up even to Aaron just over a text message. It's like, you know what? just kill him. Even if Luke, nice enough, music guy, kill him too. But really, on the synopsis for tonight's show called Bounty, it's all about getting, the daughter back versus our group getting Alden and Luke back. And whether it happens or not or gets delayed, somewhere in the synopsis of AMC it says, these people from Kingdom are going to go on a run, and maybe they run into some trouble. So maybe some Kingdom people die. Is it going to be Jerry? Is it going to be Ezekiel right now instead of like episode 16 where like a whole bunch of heads will be on pikes?
That's what I'm saying. Where's the heads on pikes?
I don't
coming
know.
Up or what?
Are they going to sprinkle these heads on pikes, or are they going to just make it the grandiose ending? Because I believe in the comic, the most heads on pikes in one ended up with a scene where everyone was like at the funeral for these people, the pike deaths, and a big massive storm like moves in, kind of like showing like the doom and danger now they have to face.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, which collective group of like 5 or 6 or 7 heads are going to end up on pikes? Will Michonne go out that way, or will she disappear like Rick? That's the biggest question of all. But
yeah,
I mean,
well, this is my say on Alden here. Okay, like the dude that we think's gonna go. Well, he's definitely a prisoner. We saw that he was in the preview. Well, you guys will see here in a minute that he's in the preview. They reveal that he was one of the guys in the masks, and he's hog-tied or whatever, got a choker in his mouth,
gagged, yeah.
So it could be close, and will Enid lose another one?
Yeah, why don't you sing some Irish tunes now, you bastard?
Oh yeah, right, yeah. Oh gosh, that's part 2, man. Get him out of here.
Oh, Danny boy, yourself off a bridge already, all right?
Get him out of here.
But anyway, predictions. I'm just going to go ahead and bleed into that. Next episode is called Bounty, perfect. I said, and after watching the extended preview, aka the there will be conflict speech it is evident that it's just a small intro into what Alpha can do. And with an episode called Bounty, perhaps heads start turning on the pikes. But I predict the Kingdom runs into the Whispers tonight, and someone important will die. Maybe it won't. Obviously, it's not Carol. She signed on for a while.
Yeah.
It could be Ezekiel, but doubtful. But maybe Jerry's girlfriend.
Maybe
someone like that. That's
that'd
still
be
a character.
Too,
but but she's still a character. She's not just like a no-name like stand-in.
It shows Jerry chopping away in this episode.
So maybe it's Jerry.
This is my main prediction. Time, huh? I think they're going to kick it up a notch this episode. I think
for sure it's going to culminate something bigger, but let's have something big tonight, shall we?
Yeah, shall we? Because here's my prediction. If it's shitty, I'm going to be even less and less inclined to enjoy the show. And that leads us to our preview for tonight.
Yeah, let's blast it.
Let's go ahead and show everybody what we have in store for tonight. As you can see here, it's already pretty intense. Oh, there's Alden and Luke popping up.
The reveal.
Yeah, thanks for dropping your link in our thing, buddy. Wrong answer, just like the preview said. Dang, man. Yeah, they're setting up that it's going to be pretty intense tonight. And, we'll just have to wait and see, shall we?
There will not be conflict unless you don't give me my daughter.
Yeah.
Then there will be conflict.
Definitely, if you guys want to see a little sneak peek before you jump into tonight's episode, go over to The Walking Dead or AMC.com. Check out The Walking Dead and look at the preview there, where you get to see some, my daughter. So final blast, Pete, what do we got to say? Let's wrap this.
Well, once again, episode 10 called Omega sucked pretty bad. Disappointing episode, and at this point, the Whispers might as well do what they do in the comic and make picket fences at border points with a laundry list of current main characters. And that's my final blast. That's the only thing that's going to save this season. I mean, there's nothing I see that's going to save this season. Yes, when I look at the comic book arcs of the characters from this point on, even minus the Ricks of the comic, it's still exciting. The comic's exciting. It goes to new heights. So really, my final blast is put some heads on pikes. Let Negan go ahead and do what he did in the comic, which is join the Whispers kind of incognito-ish at first, win over Alpha, piss off her right-hand man, Beta, whatever, and then end up like basically Well, I'm just going to give it away. Spoiler alert if you haven't read this part of the comic, but Negan takes the head off of Alpha and presents it to Rick. Well, Rick's gone at this point, but presents it to somebody at Alexandria as a gift, as like a peace offering.
Oh,
and
really?
they end up letting Negan live in like an outpost somewhere.
So he does come and save the day, essentially.
Well, pretty much he ends the war by cutting her head off. But I think by the time he does that, there's so much death and destruction from both sides that it's really like the damage has already been done, you know?
Well, I want to see that raw carnage, and that's my final blast. This show needs to get on GOT level. I'm sorry. Yeah, GOT is HBO, okay?
Yeah.
I get it, big budget, but that's the big budget pushes the grand landscapes and special effects they use. Yeah, it pays the actors well, but most of those actors, not most of them, a lot of the main actors at least, started off on that show, and they're there, and they're working with some other great actors, but there's some great actors that are on The Walking Dead over the years, and there probably were some great people here and there working behind the scenes, but there's just too many people in the leadership position who should have been running this show, showrunners, that have fumbled with it, and now it's to the point where it was getting passed around so damn much that it is where it is, and
We're
I
not
don't know if
going
it's
to
going to get
lose.
to that level.
We're not going to lose all of our enthusiasm because there's still 5 shows to go.
There is.
5 or 6 rather. But the fact of the matter is that we still are waiting to see what happens with Michonne because we know off
She's
camera what's happening. But when is she going? How long is she going? Are we going to find out what happened with her and Daryl in the past? I mean, looking forward to that because they are like some OGs that we still care about a lot. But beyond that, you got to have the Whispers make some more important kills. We have to have some main people from these communities go down to make it serious and make the next war.
Put some weight on the situation.
Put some weight on it. They're really good about that. I mean, 8.5 to 9 seasons almost of putting weight in, the premieres, the mid-seasons, and the finales. A lot of weight.
And we need a lot here, I think, to make it viable, man. To make it seem like it's something that we want to continue to consume as content.
Right. So we will do Rick movies when they come, but we don't know when. We will do Better Call Saul, but we don't know when.
Right.
We will do Westworld, but it's next year at the earliest.
Yeah, right.
So really, with the last episode of Game of Thrones and these last 5-6 episodes of Walking Dead, those are the main reviews we're looking forward to. And right now, after last week's show,
I know.
Man, they better wow us in some way.
They gotta keep it spicy for us.
But remember, you can join us not only here on YouTube, but also on Twitch.
Yes.
So just go to Twitch or YouTube, punch in PanNerdia, and enjoy any of the content we have. All things nerdy is what PanNerdia is all about.
Oh yeah, all things from art and video games, reviews, podcasts, you name it, even unboxing, card openings,
gaming.
Yeah,
yes,
we got it all, guys.
All kinds of gaming, card and video. But
yeah, so check us out either on twitch.tv/PanNerdia, which all the reviews will move to after we get done doing the Walker Talkers this season. Any further future reviews will move to the Twitch location, and think of YouTube as kind of the archive / curated of the best of PanNerdia. So you guys keep fly, be on the lookout for more stuff involving KamehamehaCon, and you guys enjoy the enjoyment, enjoy tonight's episode 11, which is titled Bounty, and
episode 1.
Yes, and we'll see you guys next weekend. Peace out.
Later. Yeah. Time to enjoy the enjoyment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Until next week, give us a like.
Please do that.
Please, please, please.